Hello and welcome to The Focus. The Focus is a show designed to showcase what is going on in education today. More specifically, to see what students are doing in the classroom to reshape education. As a teacher of 15 years, I've grown tired of hearing what kids today are not doing from the people in the media and from uninformed people not knowing what really goes on. And that's when I decided to start The Focus. The Focus stands for Finding Outstanding Classrooms Using Social Media. You see, with the help of social media tools like Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Skype, I've come across some of America's greatest teachers and students. So I've put the word out on social media to educators to see if they're interested in showcasing their classrooms. I hope this will be an ongoing series of spectacular educators and students. Our guest this week is Holli Martinez from Bellevue, Washington. Mrs. Martinez has started a great cutting-edge educational foundation that focuses on training and retaining teachers across Washington. So let's go ahead and connect with Mrs. Martinez. Okay, we're now joined with Holli Martinez of the Martinez Foundation. Holli, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Don?
Super. Now, I've gotten to know you a little bit via Twitter, which is great because this is why this is called The Focus. We find a lot of great educators online. You, however, have started something a little different. I've come across some of your work with the Martinez Foundation. Tell us a little bit about the Martinez Foundation and how it got started.
Well, my husband and I started the foundation in 2007, and we took about a year to really figure out what we wanted to do. We knew that equity in education was very important to us, but we didn't know exactly how we could leverage the small resources that we had and make a bigger impact in our community. So we met with every leader in education, business leader, politician, anyone who would meet with us, and we asked them some questions about what they would do in education if they could, if resources were not an option or were no barrier. So we ended up coming up with a solution that we never intended to set out to do. So what we do now is we provide support services for life for teachers of color who would like to teach in Title I schools and high need schools. So we provide them with scholarships and professional development throughout their teaching career.
Now, one thing I talked to another one of your staff members is that you were also interested in not just helping teachers go on and further their education, but you're hoping that they'll stay in education as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. When we looked at the research, we saw that a lot of people were going into recruitment, and the recruitment efforts are very strong in recruiting people into the teaching profession, but we found that the work really needed to happen on the retention side of things. So we focus all of our programs 100% on retaining excellent teachers in the field. It's one thing to get great teachers, it's another one to keep them there because of lack of resources or whatever challenges that they face. So we are committed to doing everything we can to keep them in the teaching profession and keep them happy and successful.
Well, that's awesome. I've seen far too many times. As a matter of fact, there was a documentary out this last year called American Teacher where these great, awesome teachers were discovered to be awesome teachers, and then they were recruited by somebody else outside of education, and then they left. So that's an awesome thing that you guys are wanting to start. You mentioned earlier my husband and I,
Yes.
And for those of us that are watching this outside of Seattle, please let us know who your husband is.
My husband played baseball with the Seattle Mariners for about 20 years. Edgar Martinez is his name, and he retired in 2004. And after he retired, we both went back to school, and that's where we both went back to the University of Washington, and that's where we both developed our passion for starting a foundation.
Now, part of that foundation, and I have already seen this video on Vimeo, and we'll roll a clip here soon. I saw this amazing piece, and this is actually how I got started with discovering what the Martinez Foundation is this retreat on Idlewood, or I'll let you explain it, Islandwood, and please explain how this all transpires, because I was blown away with this being called educational training. It was amazing. Tell me about it.
Islandwood is a retreat center out on Bainbridge Island here in the Northwest, and it's an amazing facility. But what I most love about this is really the cornerstone of our support programs. We bring all of our fellows together. It really is kind of an introduction into what our programs are. They get to know each other. They form bonds, and they form a collaborative peer relationship that really allows them to rely on each other as they continue teaching at various schools around the area. So it's an amazing opportunity for them to come together, build relationships in a safe place where they can safely talk about issues and struggles that they have in their work environment that they may not feel comfortable talking about anywhere else. So they know that they have this supportive, collaborative peer network that they build, and it's pretty amazing. It's very powerful.
How long is that training seminar?
Well, when we started it, we've expanded it. So when we started with 2 days, and now we're at 4, and who knows where it's going to go. It is really our favorite experience for our fellows. They take a lot out of it. We do a lot of team building exercises and lesson planning. We do a lot of tangible work with them, but also a lot of really great relationship building as well.
Yeah, when I saw the video, I was blown away with the facilities. That what a unique opportunity for teachers to get to stay on an island outside of Seattle. It looked amazing. Tell us a little bit about where you think the Martinez Foundation is going. Where are you guys headed?
Well, this is really interesting because we have a model now that currently serves cohorts of scholars that we award them scholarships in their master's in teaching program, and then they build this small cohort together. But we're finding that our impact is, while it is great with our fellows right now in the schools that they're in, we're looking to expand our scope. We really want to have an impact in larger districts, and so we're looking at expanding, and we have so far this year worked on expanding this support seminars that we have, the professional development seminars, to all teachers in the field who are interested in equity and excellence. And the participation rate is just incredible. And we're finding that teachers that are not necessarily fellows but are interested in learning more about equity and excellence in education are joining these professional development seminars and really getting a lot out of it.
And all the work you guys have done over the past 5 years, what have been the greatest challenges getting to this point?
You know, I think part of it is adjustments along the way, small adjustments, looking at our business model and seeing how we need to adjust it every year and in order to be sustainable. Nonprofit work is tough. It's different than normal corporations where we have to raise our budget. And so I think one of the challenges of being more of a high-profile foundation, as far as my husband's previous job as an athlete, people think that we are about giving grants to other people when we're really a nonprofit, public nonprofit, and we're sustainable in that we're supported by the community. And so I think that's been our biggest challenge, to adjust our business model along with just continuing to provide more outreach in the community.
Holli, you mentioned earlier about wanting to support people of color. Why was this decision made?
Well, the decision really came out of what experts were telling us and what the statistics told us for Washington State. You know, we have a very diverse student population here. Over 40% of the students here in Washington State public schools are of diverse backgrounds, racial and ethnic backgrounds, while the teaching corps here is predominantly Caucasian. We have a 92% teaching corps here that is Caucasian. And so really the experts and the data were telling us that we really needed to diversify this workforce. It's something that is well known in the corporate community. There's diversity and inclusion efforts on all different types of industries, but really it needs to happen here in the teaching profession as well.
About how many teachers do you guys select per year to be a part of the fellowship?
Well, we're growing that. This year we had about 20. In our first cohort, we increased the Latino teachers in Seattle Public Schools by 10%. And so we're seeing an impact even in just our small numbers. Because
the show is called The Focus, and our emphasis is a lot of things about collaborating online, what kind of online tools are you wanting for your fellowship recipients to start getting a grasp of?
Well, we started with a private Facebook account for our fellows, but now we're really encouraging them to get on Twitter. We're inviting them to join the Twitterverse and get more engaged with others in the field of education, learn more from their peers around the country and around the world in education. And so we are aggressively encouraging them to pursue more technology in themselves within the online community, but also in their classrooms as well.
Okay, it's also shameless plug time. Please give us your Twitter address.
Holli Martinez 01 is my Twitter name, and I'd love to have you add me to your network. I'm new to Twitter, and I'm loving it.
I'll also got to admit, when you talked about your newness to Twitter, I was first acquainted with a person named Ian Adair. Tell us a little bit about what Ian's done and how he's gotten you guys out on Twitter.
Absolutely. So we're thrilled to have Ian Adair as our new executive director for the foundation, and he is just a dynamo. He's got so much energy and passion, and he loves Twitter, and he loves connecting with people, and he has been really good at pulling me out of my shell and getting me out there to put myself out there a little bit more on Twitter and other. So I do have to say that Ian really is the catalyst that has brought this about.
Great. So obviously he brought a little bit of leadership and some experience working with a lot of non-for-profits. However, lastly, I want to hammer in on the leadership that you guys expect. Let's just make this your plug. If you're watching this in the state of Washington and you're an educator, tell us what you're looking for in an applicant for the fellowship.
What we're looking for with applicants for Martinez Fellow is really someone who is an entrepreneur in the classroom. We want to see someone who is aggressive in learning and aggressive in wanting to improve their techniques and wanting to put themselves out there in a way that isn't safe, that they're willing to take risks, take chances, and really embrace equity and embrace excellence. That's what we're looking for in a Martinez Fellow. And also, I would say, it's so important to be part of a collaborative community. And we are looking for people who want to collaborate, want to grow together, and want to come together with that, for lack of a better word, that synergy of really getting the best outcomes and the best teaching models.
Great note to end on. Holli, I encourage anyone watching this to get a hold of Holli. You can find her on Twitter. You can find the Martinez Foundation on Twitter. I applaud you for wanting to bring about this change, especially in your state of Washington, to bring about that entrepreneurial feel and have people collaborate. I admire the heck out of what you guys are doing for your retreats and all the training you're providing. Join us again on The Focus at any point you want. And again, I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Mrs. Martinez for connecting with us today. Again, I urge any teacher in Washington to connect with the foundation about the great services that they're providing. If you have any suggestions on teachers or students that would like to be profiled on The Focus, please email me at dwetrick@gmail.com. Again, that's dwetrick@gmail.com. On our next episode, we will talk about an elementary school class and their efforts that they are making for Hurricane Sandy relief. Thank you for joining us, and remember, opportunities are everywhere.